Hello dear students, we have discussed magnetic force under the chapter magnetic effects of current, and in magnetic force we have discussed magnetic force is Q times V cross B, and we know that when this force is maximum and when this force is minimum. And now let us see if a charged particle moves in a region in which both of the fields are present, electric field and magnetic field, then the resultant force acting on the charged particle is called Lorentz force. Lorentz force is what? This is the resultant force acting on the charged particle when it is moving in combined electric and magnetic field. Let us consider E is the electric field, B is the magnetic field present in some region, and we know that the force acting due to electric field is QE and the force due to magnetic field is Q times V cross B. Now the net force on the charged particle would be the resultant of these two forces, and resultant of these two forces, that is Q times E plus Q times V cross B. So this resultant force acting on the charged particle is called Lorentz force. Now, directions of both of these two forces we can easily predict. We know that the electric field always acts in the direction of the field when the positively charged particle is moving in the field, and electric field always acts in a direction opposite to the field when a negatively charged particle is moving in the electric field. And about magnetic force, we know that magnetic force, here you can see this is the cross product of velocity and magnetic field. So magnetic force is always perpendicular to the direction of motion of the charged particle, and it is perpendicular to the magnetic field also. Now let us find out the direction of the charged particle or the combined effect. If we want to find out the net force's direction, if net force, that is a Lorentz force, is acting on the charged particle, then we can easily find out the direction of force on the charged particle when it is moving in the combined electric and magnetic field. We can find out the direction due to electric field, electric force. We can find out the direction of the magnetic force. Then we have to take the resultant of both of the directions, and then we can find out the direction of the resultant force acting on the charged particle. Let us discuss a situation. If I say that the force due to electric field and magnetic field on the charged particle is equal and opposite, or in other words, we can consider some other situation also. If I say that electric and magnetic fields are perpendicular to each other. Now let us consider one situation here. Let us consider the electric field is perpendicular to the magnetic field, and one more thing I am going to consider, electric force is equal to magnetic force. So under this condition, let us find out some parameters and how they are dependent upon each other. So here you see electric field and magnetic field, they are perpendicular to each other. Now we can consider two directions here. Let us consider electric field is along x-axis and magnetic field is along y-axis, and let us consider the charged particle has entered the field, and both of the field, cross fields we are talking about here, and the charged particle is entering both of the fields in a direction which is perpendicular to both of the directions. So the third direction I am going to consider, that is the k vector. Let us consider the velocity of the charged particle is along z-axis. So both of the fields, if I am taking this as x-axis, this as y-axis, So along x-axis I am having electric field, So electric field is along x-axis. So this is electric field, and magnetic field is along y-axis. So magnetic field is along y-axis, and a charged particle is entering, means from behind it is entering both of this region having both of the fields, means the velocity vector is along z-axis. Z-axis, we know that this is out of the plane, so means the particle is coming in outward direction, means it is going to enter in the field by going along the z-axis. Now let us find out the electric force. Electric force, we know that this is let us consider charge of the charged particle is plus q. So this is the charge of the particle. So electric force is what? This is q times electric field, or this is q times E into I. And second is magnetic force. We know that this is q times B cross B, and this can be written as q times B A cross B J, or this can be written as q B B K cross J. Now what is K cross J? We can find out the direction. In 11th class, we have discussed this thing. I cross J is K, J cross K is I, K cross I is J. So J cross K is I, but K cross J would be minus I. So this would be K B B minus I cap. Now both of the forces, you can see electric force is in the direction I cap, means electric force is acting along this direction. So this is your electric force, which is along positive x-axis, and magnetic force on that charged particle is along negative x-axis. So in this direction magnetic force is acting, and what we have taken, I should not put arrows here, we are taking the magnitudes of both of the forces is equal. Now you see the forces under this condition, the condition I have considered, under this condition both of the forces, if they are equal, they would be opposite also. If means the conditions we have considered, the two fields were crossed, means they were perpendicular to each other, and the charged particle is entering the field in a direction which is perpendicular to both of the fields. Under that condition, both of the forces, electric force and magnetic force, they would be exactly opposite to each other. And the condition what we have considered, if we are considering that both of the forces are equal in magnitude, if both of the forces are equal in magnitude and then their directions are opposite, then what would happen? Both of the forces, they would cancel each other. Electric force would be cancelled by the magnetic force. So the resultant force acting on the charged particle would be 0. Now you can see both of the forces, they are exactly opposite. One is along I cap, one is along minus I cap. So here we can write magnetic force and electric force are equal and opposite. So what we can write here? The sum of both the forces, electric force and magnetic force, would be 0. Means no force is acting on the charged particle under this particular condition we have considered. And when you see the charged particle here, you can consider the same situation. Electric field is along x-axis, magnetic field is along y-axis, and a positive charge is entering in the region having both of the fields. And you see when the charged particle has entered, when it is inside the crossed fields, the net force on the charged particle would be 0. And without any deviation, no force is acting on the charged particle, it will keep moving in the same direction, because no force is acting. Net force on this charged particle, no force, I should not say, both of the forces are acting, but they are exactly opposite in nature, equal in magnitude. Then this charged particle will keep moving without any deviation. Now in that case, no deviation would be there because the net force on the charged particle is 0. Now one more thing. Here we can consider the same situation I am going to consider again. The magnitude of both of the forces are equal. Magnitudes are same, means electric force is equal to magnetic force. When both of the forces are equal in magnitude, then what we can write for these parameters? 3 parameters we have here. 1, 2, 3. So electric force is what? This is Q times E. Magnetic force is what? This is Q times V cross B. We are talking about magnitudes. So magnitudes would be QE and here magnitude would be QVB. QVB was the magnitude. Now you see Q would get cancelled and what would be the velocity of the charged particle in this condition? E over B. Means if a charged particle is entering the crossed fields, crossed electric and magnetic field, and if it is going without any deviation, it is able to cross the crossed field undeviated, then the velocity of the charged particle must be the ratio of the magnitudes of electric field and magnetic field. So you can find out the velocity of the charged particle. What would be the suppose electric field, magnetic fields, if the magnitudes are given. You can easily find out what would be the velocity of the charged particle under this condition. If you want to make both of the forces equal and opposite, then velocity would be this. So you may be asked this question in 1 mark. If a charged particle is entering the 2 crossed fields and if it is going without any deviation, what would be the velocity of the charged particle? Velocity of the charged particle is what? This is the ratio of the electric field and magnetic field. So you may be given any type of situation, whenever it is given, you have to simply solve the questions like this. If both of the forces are equal or they are not equal, you can find out the direction of both of the forces. If directions of the 2 forces, here you see, here we have considered a particular situation in which both of the fields are perpendicular to each other. You may be given both of the fields may not be perpendicular, they may be in some other directions also. Under same, you can use the Cartesian coordinates if x, y, z is given, and you can solve the situations to find out the result. So any situation may be asked, you are supposed to solve the solution using all the conditions. All the formula you can use, whatever is asked in the question, you can do accordingly. Our next topic is motion of the charged particle in a magnetic field. Now, we know that if a charged particle is moving in the magnetic field, then the magnetic force will start acting on it. And we know that the magnetic force does not do any work. Magnetic force is responsible for the change in the direction of the charged particle. Means the particle will keep moving with the uniform velocity or same speed. But force, what force is doing here? Force is just changing the direction of motion of the charged particle. Now let us consider, I am having some magnetic field. We can consider magnetic field perpendicular to the plane, and let us use crosses for the magnetic field, and we know that the crosses are used for inward directions. So I am going to consider some magnetic field here. These crosses shows that magnetic field is inwards and perpendicular to this board. Now we'll divide this topic into 2 parts. One part, in first part we will consider that the charged particle is entering the field at right angle, and in the second part we will see what would be the motion or direction of motion, or what would be the path followed by the charged particle when the particle is entering the field at any angle, means it may be lying between 0 to 90 degree, then what type of path the particle is going to follow? First case we are going to consider, let us consider the charged particle is going to enter the field at right angle. So here, first case 1 we are going to consider, let charged particle enters the magnetic field at 90 degree. Means here at right angle 90 degree the charged particle is going to enter the field. So let us consider charged particle may be coming from any of the direction. It may be going from here or from here or from that side. So any of the direction you can consider. So it may be along this direction, it may be along this direction, here also or here also. Means it is going to enter the field at right angle. So if this is the situation, you need to find out the direction of the force. So direction of force will tell you the direction of deviation of the charged particle. We know that magnetic force is Q times V cross B. So whenever the charged particle has entered the field at right angle, maximum magnetic force would be acting on the charged particle, and we are going to find out the direction of the magnetic force acting. If the charged particle is entering from here, which formula, which law we are going to use to find out the direction of the force? You have to stretch your fingers in the direction of velocity, curl them in the direction of the magnetic field, and thumb will give you the direction of the magnetic force. So if the charged particle is going from this side, then you will curl your fingers. Magnetic field is inwards, means magnetic field is inwards and perpendicular to the plane. You will curl your fingers like this and charged particle will move in the upward direction. If the charged particle is moving from here, you will stretch the fingers of your right hand in the direction of the velocity, curl them in this direction, means the force would be acting in this direction. Similarly here, if the charged particle is moving from this direction, stretch your fingers, curl them, this is the direction of the force. And here obviously we are considering the charged particle having the positive charge. So any of the direction we can consider. So let us consider only one direction. Let us consider the force charged particle has entered the field in this direction. So let us consider it is entering the field in the direction. So this is the velocity vector. It has entered the field. Now we have to see in which direction it is going to move. Stretch your fingers in the direction of velocity. Curl them in the direction of the field. Thumb will give you the direction of the force. So force, when it has just entered the field, force is in the upward direction. Because of this force, because it is going in this direction, because upward force is acting, so it will start deviating in the upward direction. So because of the force is upward, the charged particle has deviated in the upward direction. Now the velocity direction you can see, this is upward. So velocity is in the upward direction. Now you will stretch the fingers of your right hand in the upward direction, curl them towards the magnetic field, and this is the direction of the force. This thumb is going to give you the direction of the force. So when the particle is moving in this direction, magnetic force is towards left hand side. So because of this force, again it will bend towards the left hand side. So because of this force, the particle will bend in the direction of the force. Now you see, when the particle is going in this direction, again you will stretch, means the magnetic force direction will keep on changing continuously. So when the particle is going in this direction, you will stretch the fingers of your right hand inward. This is the direction of the force. So here magnetic force is in the downward direction. So it will deviate in this direction. So in this way you see, when it is going in the downward, again stretch, curl. This is the direction of the force. So force would be in this direction. So you can see here, at every point the magnetic force is in such a direction that the charged particle will start moving in a circular track. So here you can see this is the path in which the charged particle will start moving. So circular track would be followed by the charged particle. So in a circular path it will start moving when the charged particle is entering the field at right angle. So the condition we have to keep in mind. So this is the condition when the charged particle is entering the field at 90-degree angle. So here the circular path would be followed. So you can write here under this condition, a circular path will be followed by the charged particle. Now we'll find out different parameters of this circular path. What would be the radius of the circle and what would be the frequency of the revolution of the charged particle, and what is the time period, how much time is taken by the charged particle to complete one circle. So let us find out these parameters. For finding these parameters, one very important thing, whenever the charged particle moves in a circular track, we know that centripetal force is responsible for that. And from where the centripetal force is coming, this is the magnetic force itself, which is making the charged particle to move in a circular track. So centripetal force, which is responsible for the circular motion of the charged particle, is basically the magnetic force. So we can write here, centripetal force acting on the charged particle is basically the magnetic force. So writing the magnitudes only, mv square over r is equal to q times v cross b. Q, V, B, sin theta. Sin theta is 90 degree, theta is 90 degree here. I am taking the magnitudes only. So m v square over r is equal to q v b sin 90, because the angle between the velocity and the magnetic field was taken as 90 degree. So sin 90 is 1. So we can write this as m v square over r is equal to q v b. One v is going to get cancelled. So what is r then? R is what? This is the radius of the circular track. This r is the radius of the circular track. When I am writing the centripetal force as mv square over r, m is the mass of the charged particle, v is the velocity with which it is moving in a circular track, and r is the radius of the circular track. So radius of the circular path followed by the charged particle would be mv over qb. So this formula will give you the radius of the circular track or circular path in which the charged particle will move when it enters the magnetic field at 90 degree. So this formula is for the radius. You can see this is m into v. M into v is the momentum. So momentum over charge into magnetic field. So this, substituting these factors in this formula, you can find out the radius of the charged particle. So some other things we are going to derive. Let us find out the time period. Time period of revolution means how much time it is going to take to cover one complete revolution. So let us find out the time period also. Time period is time period of revolutions means total time taken to complete a distance which is equal to circumference of the charged particle with its velocity v. We know that velocity is distance over time. So time is then distance over velocity. Distance, time period is for what? Time period is t here. This is for one revolution. So for one revolution, what is the distance? That is the circumference. That is 2 pi r. For one revolution means it is going to cover one full circumference of the circular track. So distance would be taken as 2 pi r. So time period is what? This is 2 pi r over velocity. Value of r we can substitute from here. So time period is 2 pi over v into mv over qb. Or this can be written as v is going to get cancelled, 2 pi m over qb. So this formula will give you the time period of one revolution of the charged particle, that is 2 pi m over q. So this is another formula we have solved. And third thing, if you want to find out the frequency, means how many revolutions the charged particle can have in 1 second. So the things we have derived, R is what? R is mv over qb. Time period is 2 pi m over qb. And third thing, frequency, we are going to write here. Frequency is number of revolutions in 1 second, and we know that frequency is reciprocal of the time period. So frequency is what? That is qb over 2 pi m. So frequency is qb over 2 pi m. So these three parameters we can derive from here. Now one very important thing from these parameters, you can see here, time period and frequency, they are not dependent upon the velocity of the charged particle. Now if I ask you one question, two protons are moving with the velocities. Let us consider velocity is 3 into 10 raised to power 4 meter per second, and second velocity is 6 into 10 raised to power 5 meter per second. Now let us consider this. These are the two velocities of the two protons. And when these two protons are entering a field at right angle, which of the proton is going to complete one circle in lesser time? Velocities do not play any role in time period. Both of these two protons, you can see here velocity is more. Velocity of the proton 2 is more than the velocity of proton 1. If both of them, they are proton, their charge would be same, their mass is same, and the field in which they are entering, that is also same. So same time they will take to complete their circle. So velocity is not going to affect the time period. So what velocity is going to affect them? Radius. Radius would be affected by the velocity of the charged particle. You can see here, more is the velocity, more would be the radius of the circular track covered by the charged particle. So if both of these protons, one proton would cover smaller circle and one proton would cover larger circle, but both of them, they are going to complete their one circle in same time. Means and their frequency is also same. Means they, if I am saying in 1 minute how many circles they are going to cover, how many revolutions they are going to have, both of them, they will have the same number of revolutions. What is the difference? Difference is in their radius. Radius of the circular track, that would be different for both of these protons, but the time period is same, their frequency is also same. So these three parameters are there for the charged particle or circular track covered by the charged particle when it enters the field at right angle, 90 degree. Okay students, now we are going to discuss the second case. When first case was when the charged particle is going to enter the field at right angle. Now let us see if the charged particle is entering the field at some other angle other than 90 degree. It may be lying between 0 to 90 degree. So second case is when charged particle enters the field at an angle between 0 to 90 degree. Means at any angle theta it is going to enter the field. So let us consider our field is now along x-axis. This is the direction of the field along x-axis. Let us consider this is y-axis and this is z-axis out of this. Now let us consider the magnetic field is along x-axis. This is the direction of the field. And let us consider the velocity is in this direction. Means velocity of the charged particle is making an angle theta with the magnetic field. Now in this condition, what we can do? Here we can resolve velocity into two components. One along the direction of the field and one perpendicular to the direction of the field. So here the component of velocity which is parallel to the magnetic field is v cos theta, and this velocity component is v sin theta. So what we have done here velocity is resolved into two components, v cos theta, velocity v cos theta in the direction of b and v sin theta perpendicular to the direction of b. Now the velocity which is perpendicular to the direction of b, we know that because of that velocity the charged particle will start moving in a circular track. In the first case we have seen the velocity, when the velocity of the charged particle is perpendicular to the magnetic field, that velocity is responsible for the circular motion of the charged particle. So what we can write here, this velocity v sin theta will make the charged particle move in circular track, because this is the velocity which is perpendicular to the magnetic field. Because of this velocity the charged particle will try to move in a circular track. So circular track means here this is the velocity and magnetic field is in this direction, force is inwards. So again because of this velocity component we can find out the magnetic force. You can stretch your fingers in the direction of velocity, curl them in the direction of the field inwards. So here charged particle is going to invert. Where it is going to invert? And again you can find out the direction of the magnetic force at different positions, and you will see the particle will be moving in a circular track because of this velocity. So particle will start moving in a circular track because of the velocity component which is perpendicular to the magnetic field. So here again we can write down the radius of the circular track. That would be that for first case we have written mv sin theta. The first case it was mv over qb, but now you see velocity, which velocity is responsible? This is v sin theta. You can write again. You can write here also v sin theta comparing. So mv sin theta over qb. This is the radius of the circular track, and time period is 2 pi m over qb because velocity is not playing any role in time period and frequency. So this would be the radius. Now what about the second component of the velocity? Second component, you see the velocity which is parallel to the magnetic field. We can think of the first lecture of magnetic force. We have discussed when the velocity is parallel to magnetic field, then magnetic force due to that velocity would be zero. When the charged particle is moving parallel to the magnetic field, then no magnetic force is acting on it. So only this velocity component is there because of which magnetic force is acting on the charged particle, and this component of the velocity is not going to produce any magnetic force on the charged particle. So this magnetic sorry, this component of the velocity is remaining constant. Constant in magnitude also and constant in direction also, because no magnetic force is going to affect this velocity because this is parallel to the magnetic field and no magnetic force would be acting on it. So V cos theta will remain as it is with the charged particle. So what charged particle is now doing? Because of this velocity, charged particle is moving in a circular track, but one more velocity is also there with the charged particle, that is V cos theta. So what is going to happen here? Charged particle is moving in circular track because of V sin theta, and V cos theta is also associated with the charged particle. So V cos theta is in the direction of the field. So charged particle is moving in a circular track and it is moving in the forward direction also. So what type of motion will be there? Helical path would be covered. So circular plus one translatory motion is along x-axis. So helical path would be observed here. So here what was the direction of the force here? The direction of force was in this direction, inwards. So the charged particle would be moving in this direction. So it is moving in the forward direction also. So this type of path would be observed for the charged particle. So here we can write this is V sin theta will make the charged particle move in a circular track. V cos theta is parallel to magnetic field. So no magnetic force acts on it and it is not affected. So both these velocities, both the components of velocities will make the charged particle move in a helical path. So the motion of the charged particle will be along helical path. Now, helical path is there. We can find out the pitch of this motion. What is the pitch? Pitch we have already discussed in the experiment when we have done the experiment of screw gauge. We have seen what is pitch. Pitch is what? The linear distance covered in one revolution. So here also you see the particle has started from here and it is going in the forward direction also. So what linear distance is covered in one full revolution? That is the pitch. So pitch, how we can find out? Pitch can be calculated using the formula pitch is linear distance covered in one revolution. So how we can find out the pitch? In one revolution means this much distance we have to cover. So from here to here, velocity is what? Velocity is V cos theta. And we can find out the time. For one revolution, time period is same because it is not dependent upon velocity. So velocity is V cos theta, and how much time is taken from here to here? One full revolution's time, that is time period. So time taken is capital T, that is 2 pi m over q. So how much distance traveled from here to here? That is pitch. So distance is, we know that velocity is distance over time. So distance is velocity into time. So velocity is V cos theta and time is 2 pi n over q. So this will give you the pitch of the charged particle when it is moving along a helical path. pitch of the charged particle for a helical path. So this is all about the motion of the charged particle in magnetic field. So whenever you're given any of the situation, you can find out when the particle is entering the field at right angle, it will move in a circular track, simple circular track at one place only. But when the charged particle is entering the field at any other angle other than 90 degrees, 0 to 90 degree, any angle, it may be 30 degree, 40 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree, then it is going to cover a helical path, spring type path it would cover, and the radius of that circular track is mv sine theta over qb, and you can find out the pitch. Pitch is the linear distance covered when it is moving in one revolution. So how much linear distance, how much forward it is going to move forward one complete revolution, that is the pitch. So linear distance is what? Velocity over time taken, velocity and time taken you can consider to find out the pitch of the charged particle. So this is all about the motion of the charged particle in magnetic field. So depending upon this, application is cyclotron. So cyclotron is the next topic we will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.